Welcome to Igniting Change, the podcast where we explore innovation, industry trends, and how tech for good is solving the world's biggest challenges. Let's get into it.
So, thank you so much for joining us. Did you want to introduce yourself? So, give me your name, job title, and the organisation you're from, and a bit of background about the organisation. And I'm going to hand over to Lauren first.
Sounds great. Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren. I'm one of Learning Equality's co-executive directors. I'll let Navya share more, but we both stepped into this role last year. And we're the co-executive directors of Learning Equality, which is a nonprofit organization based in the U.S. that's specifically focused on creating tech-enabled quality learning experiences in places where the internet doesn't exist. So we're really honing in on how do we create a not less than experience for those learners that are often left out of the wealth of materials and tools that exist in internet-enabled environments. And so that's what we do.
Amazing.
Over to Navya.
Yeah, I'm Navya. I'm the co-executive director alongside Lauren at Learning Equality and excited to be here.
So, tell me, because I don't think I've had two guests on the podcast at the same time for a while. It's really exciting. So, did you both know each other before getting the roles, or did you meet for the first time when getting the roles? Can either one of you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, I can kick off and Lauren can probably jump in at different points. So both of us started at Learning Equality about 8 years ago. And we both started, I think, within a week or two of each other. And when we started off at Learning Equality, it was a relatively small team. And we had different roles leading different areas of work. And I led more of our building out our training and educator support strategy and supporting our implementations in South Asia. And I think we were also 8 years right now seems like a really long time. And I think about that. Wow, 8 years. That's also the longest I've been at any org. And I think it kind of shows how there are a lot of team members at Learning Quality who've stayed for a really long time. And it shows how the Learning Quality team and the culture itself, it really sets us up for success in that way. But I've known Lauren since then, and we've been through motherhood together. And I think that's one of the biggest for me, like having Lauren as my mom friend, in addition to being my colleague and doing all these co-leadership things together, has been, I think I talked the most with Lauren. I was telling my partner this the other day, probably spend the most number of time on the daily talking to Lauren, whether it's not even on video call, but on Slack, on WhatsApp, just all the channels. We're just constantly talking to each other. And I think we've just built our friendship both within the workplace, but also outside because it's just the stage of life that we're in.
Yeah, and we could talk a little bit more about why Learning Equality decided to move towards a co-leadership model. But as an organization, we've always valued people holding different roles and taking on responsibility and decision making and having that distributed kind of structure. And for a lot of reasons, co-leadership really made sense for us. But I think it would be really challenging to enter into a role like this where you didn't fully know the person that you're working with. And one of the kind of pain points that we're running into now, of which frankly there are very minimal, I think are not the typical ones for organizations, because we have worked with each other for so long. We know how to play to each other's strengths really well. We know in moving into this direction, we had a lot of clarity on how to divide up our roles and responsibilities. That was critical for us to understand what shared decision making looks like, what are the points where one of us owns something over the other. But just candidly, I don't think I ever would step into a role like this, at least at this point in my life, without fully knowing and trusting that person. We did a lot of research before this to make sure that there weren't, just to be aware of the potential downfalls. But I'm not sure if this was ever in my plans to lead or co-lead an organization, but knowing that we're doing it together and can really rely on each other and gut check with each other in a way that feels really equal and supports one another is really wonderful. And I think speaks to also who we are as people. And I would never do this without Navya specifically, just because we know each other so well, we trust each other and all the things I said.
But that's so important, so important. And I think just hearing you articulate that in a really beautiful way, it really cements that for me, because you need that trust. You need to understand the ways that you work together, that your strengths, your weaknesses, and how you can come together to lead together, which is amazing. So how did it come about? Did someone internally maybe suggest it to you both, or did you both have an idea and you came together and how did talk to us about the journey, because this is really quite fascinating.
Yeah, we're really good as an organization to ask a lot of questions and to really like drive at what the needs of the organization are, or the needs of any problem that we're trying to solve, and be really thoughtful about our decision making, making sure that it aligns with our mission, but also our values. And so part of this decision is thinking about also where we want to head as an organization, and thinking about our positionality as a nonprofit headquartered in the US, but doing work all around the world. And what is our responsibility? How do we go about doing that in a way that most empowers and supports the people in the best possible ways that we're doing through our work anyway? Navya, do you want to talk a little bit more about how we got? Yeah.
So, I mean, to Lauren's point earlier, we have always been a non-hierarchical kind of team structure, because our founder, Jamie Alexander, we still have both of the co-founders on the team. Both me and Lauren are co-EDs. And I think there is a culture that was set from the beginning, that we look at what distributed leadership can look like across the team. What does it mean for leaders to innovate and learn and grow and build their own areas of work and contribute to the org, and constantly think about ways in which they can improve the organization, but also try new initiatives and new things. And I think that culture was set from the beginning. Otherwise, it's really hard to suddenly change up things and be like, oh, let's shift to a co-leadership model. No, I think there's a very strong foundation set from the beginning from the founders itself in setting up that culture. And that really helped for leaders on the team to grow and learn and think about ways in which they can contribute to the organization's development and to different stages of where the org is at. And I think as Lauren was mentioning, we researched a lot. We talked to various different people. And I think there was about 3 years ago, there was a proposal that, okay, what does it look like if we were to shift to a co-leadership model? And what are the different kind of ways and structures in which we can do that? And I think that's when we started a few conversations internally. And that kicked off this whole process. And I think even for us being co-leaders and co-executive directors, that doesn't mean that we are the only leaders in the organizations. We do everything related to org leadership, of course, because we have a responsibility to the board and to the org and in this executive leadership position. But at the same time, we also have this responsibility of making sure that we continue to foster leadership on the team. So there are many different leaders on the team that we want to support and enable them to grow and shine. And I think that's the key difference for us, because otherwise, if we didn't have that culture in the first place, then it's really hard to even set up the structure.
Yeah. One thing that's really special about the organization is that, you know, we have a set of core values that guide us, and we have our mission, and everyone's really committed to that. But we also, just underlying all that, we're just a group of people that doesn't have a strong ego. And nor do I think you really can to do this work responsibly, international development in general. And so it's also really special, as Navya mentioned, that our co-founders are still on the team. Like, it really demonstrates a desire and a commitment to still do the work, while recognizing that we each have different strengths and ways in which we can contribute to the work, and the kinds of things, the competencies that Navya was just mentioning around the roles that a co-executive director would hold are just, you know, they're just competencies that are needed on the team. There's lots of other leadership competencies that our co-founders also play into. And so another thing that really helps us in this kind of shift is that Jamie Alexander, one of our co-founders, is also helping to drive our work forward more on innovation, which is something that we've always done, but to kind of put that a bit more concretely forward, particularly in this time when there's all these new shiny objects coming out in the tech space, and we always think about equity and how do we ensure that everyone can benefit from those. But what is like the crossover between when you don't have access to the internet and like using AI, for example. And so being able to kind of shift around some of our roles and responsibilities so we can dedicate more capacity to that is really meaningful and also motivates all of us. And so, yeah, that was like kind of like circuitous way to answer your question, but it's just something we've been thinking about for a while. It was definitely of interest internally to the team. And I also think that just tangibly, like, and concretely, we explored also bringing someone in externally and what that would look like, and decided, at least for the moment, to work from within, recognizing that we're just a stepping stone on a longer journey to ultimately have more, to have leadership within the organization that also comes more directly from the communities that we serve. And so part of what Navya and I are focusing on is thinking about what are key actions we can do to ultimately move us in that direction. And again, I think it also speaks to how we are as people and how the team operates, because we recognize what our ultimate goals are, and we're just helping to contribute towards that.
It's really inspiring, and it's almost like infectious. Like it's a beautiful example of how this could work. And I have to ask, and I know I think you've been there about 8 years, which sounds like a long time. I'm sure it feels like it was yesterday, but cast your mind back. Like, what attracted you to learning equality? Like, what was it for you? And it might be, you might have different answers. In fact, I suspect you probably do both have different answers. So Navya, do you want to go first?
Sure. So I have lived both in the US and in India. And right before I joined Learning Equality, I was actually living in India because I had moved back there. And I was working there for many years in the education space. And working in India, I think one thing that becomes really clear to you very quickly. I started off as a teacher. And when I was in my classroom, I could see the impact I could make on my kids on the daily, at the end of the lesson, at the end of the day. Long-term change takes a lot of time, but I could see, okay, I did this in my lesson today, and this is what my students learned. I could see that impact. And when I was talking to my kids' parents or the community, I can see the way that my actions and the way that my behaviors influence them and the community at large. But when you work in a country like India, where the scale is huge and the population, even in my classroom, on average, I had about 45 students with very different learning levels. Sometimes I had to work in multiple classrooms at the same time because there were limited teachers in the school. And I think whenever you think of what it takes to bridge education gaps and what it takes to bridge gaps in learning for all these learners, you have to think about scale. If you don't think about scale as a part of your solution, then there's no way that you can create impactful change, especially for large populations where there is a huge need. So that's what brought me into the education technology space while living in India. So then I was a part of a core team member at another tech nonprofit where we started working on how to support educators and building really meaningful, engaging classrooms. But prior to that, one of my other roles where I was working at, I had the opportunity to visit many dozens of different classrooms across India. And I think what that really opened up for me is the overall trends that you see across low resource classrooms remain the same. You can kind of highlight, okay, there are 5 to 6 things across dozens of classrooms in many different settings. There are 5 to 6 things which remain the same. And for me, it's like being intentional and thinking about, okay, if we can address those 5 to 6 things, what does that mean? Does then that help towards creating impactful change at scale? And so that's why I continue to stay in education technology. Otherwise, I would have stayed as a teacher. I love being a teacher. But if I wanted to make a bigger change and think about systems change, what it means to think at a higher level, and technology is the only way. Technology is also not the silver bullet.
Yeah.
So I was transitioning back to America for personal reasons. And that's when this job posting came up for Learning Equality on EdSearch. I had no contacts. I never even heard of the organization before, honestly. I just applied on EdSearch, and I was still in India at the time, and I interviewed while I was in India. And I moved without a job in hand, actually. I was applying to a few different places. But I remember when I was interviewing at Learning Equality, there was a picture that popped up in one of the slide decks that was given as part of the overview when I was visiting the office. And the picture was actually of one of my colleagues from the org that I worked at in Teach for India when I was teaching. And it was him and his kids. And I was like, whoa, what a small world. And I think that was just not the only moment, but then it also made that connection to the work that I did when I was in India so clear to me. And that's what made me choose to join Learning Equality, because I could stay connected to those classrooms, to that work, and also know that there's a space where I can contribute and also think about how technology can make a big impact for education. So that's my story.
I love that.
Sorry, before popping to you, Lauren, do you miss teaching at all?
All the time.
But I will say that we get to benefit from Navia's teacher persona internally within our team and externally through some of our trainings often. And it's just a good reminder for folks of like why being a fantastic facilitator and really caring about the people in the room and creating safe spaces and how to build trust. Like she does that every time we bring our team together. And so I know it's not the same thing, but I feel fortunate to get to witness that on the daily.
But just the transferable skills and the qualities that you bring, you're helping lead and develop a team of people to be able to have this global impact, right? That's the scale that you were talking about, like to be able to do anything, like you were part of that. But I guess, yeah, it is different, but it's similar, very, very, very similar. Lauren, what about you? What was your why?
Yeah, for me, it's quite different because my teaching experience is slightly more limited. Like I've always cared about education at a more local level. So I grew up in New York. New York has a lot of different access to different qualities of education, and I was always aware of that from an early age, and did a lot of advocacy locally around education initiatives, recognizing the opportunities that my parents were afforded and I was afforded as a result of a quality education. So something I've always thought about and done in my research. I did a lot of work in advocacy and policy in the education space and the international space. Also studied it in a graduate program. But for me specifically as to the why of learning equality, I think for me it's always been, to Navia's point, how can we break down barriers to accessing these quality opportunities? And there are different approaches to taking those, and there's pros and cons to all of them. Like I think Navi and I probably both similarly believe in really locally led solutions, but at the same time we know that technology in particular could be a strong enabler to help equip locally driven organizations to be able to do their work. And so for me, I wasn't necessarily looking to work in the technology space, but the job I was at before working at Learning Equality helped to bring together corporates that invested in education in different ways. And a lot of them invested in technology, and it gave me a better understanding of how people were thinking about trends in the space and how technology, again, not as a silver bullet solution, could still have meaningful impact on teachers and learners alike, and also administrators, and how it can even help to support systems change. And so one of the initiatives that my previous organization was working on was looking at what are characteristics, or like what are different approaches to being able to reach the most marginalized through a learning platform. And coincidentally, two of our co-founders at Learning Equality were on a panel and in a workshop that I helped coordinate at my last job. And so I was familiar with the approach, and kind of what this whole large consultative process led to was something very similar to Calibri. And so when I saw the job posting pop up, I felt really confident that a lot of folks had weighed in on the pros and cons of being able, like how you actually can use technology to support the most marginalized, and felt positive that all these different people were coming from different places with different lived experiences and still were advocating for something really similar. And it just, like at the time, the organization was fairly young. There was like this very infectious vibe of being something similar to a startup, where you can really shape direction. But for me personally, being based in the US and thinking, how do I do global work responsibly while being here? I really respected the approach of Learning Equality, where we don't directly implement our products and tools. We work through other organizations. And I think the way in which we help equip them to be able to do their best work is really responsible. And for me, that balance really hit home and felt like the right thing to kind of take a leap of faith on for a new job. Just looking for a job. And I don't know if I anticipated staying for this long, but I now definitely have no intention of moving on. And I think to Navya's point about it being a small world, like similarly being on the other side of thing and seeing things and seeing how Learning Equality have brought together this incredible community of organizations, some of whom I had never heard of before, but then others who I've crossed paths with at other points in my career was pretty amazing. And knowing that we could be close to the work through our partners, but also be leading in a way that felt like the right approach felt really powerful to me, and something I still feel like we get to meet such incredible people from all over the world and learn about how they are being leaders within the classroom, which is pretty cool.
And it's really funny that you should both, I mean, you both touched on that. It's a small world, right? There are people in your network, and it's funny how sometimes they can crop up at certain times, and then you're exposed to like these amazing organizations or opportunities that arise. And this is kind of part of the reason why we do Igniting Change, to bring people together that want to have that positive impact with technology. And the way that, you know, I think you've both kind of also touched on the fact that technology is not the silver bullet, it's an enabler, right? It can enable scale, it can enable many amazing things. That being said, there are also quite a lot of challenges, right, that it also brings, some new and some we're still working out. You know, that's probably more relevant in some of the newer things. I say new, but you know, the more faster evolving things that are going on right now. So let's do a little bit of a deep dive, if you don't mind, because it would be really good to understand what learning equality's work looks like today, and how do you ensure equitable access to education. So who wants to kick us off with with that one?
I can start at a high level, and then Navi's going to jump in, and maybe we'll do a little bit of a back and forth. Because we also just finished our strategic planning process for the next 5 years, which is a really exciting moment.
5 years?
Yeah, maybe it's a little too ambitious, but it's at least putting us in a direction, and we have clarity on when we should make shifts and pivots. But I think it's really helpful for us to have that focus until we've taken time to revisit that and see what it looks like. So maybe ends up being more like 3 years, but it gives us focus. So that's where we're heading. But you know, I think at a high level, when you think about technology, the things that are equal are things like having devices in theory, right? That helps to equalize, that we can all have access to the technology itself. But the way in which it's implemented is the equitable access component. So if it's the case that people have computers in a classroom, but they can't use them, whether it's because of limited access to training materials, whether there aren't sufficient resources on them, whether they don't have solar power, and the thing that we really focus in on is whether they have connectivity to help to provide personalized support and really enable student-centered learning. Like those are the components that really get at the equity component. And so I think it's important to think about both pieces, because it doesn't mean necessarily that, you know, I think there's, to your point earlier, there's pros and cons of technology, full stop. Like, you know, we're all parents in the US, and we, you know, Navya and I both have kindergartners, and hearing the ongoing conversations of the fears of parents around technology is really real. But what we know is that no matter what, our kids are going to be exposed to technology, and there's a right for everyone to be able to have that equitable access, because if we're not providing basic digital literacy skills, for example, it widens an equity gap, right? If you don't know how to use a computer when you're in secondary school, your future job opportunities are much more limited. And so we're not scared of technology, but we want to be really thoughtful about how it's being used, how it's not creating harm, just like any other education intervention. And I think that's important. And it's interesting being on the parent side of it and kind of hearing some of those conversations now and how it interplays with our work, because the work that we're doing every day is to really help, as you said a few times, really see how technology can enable these learning environments. So for us, that's really important. I feel like you're about to say something, Puff, but I
No,
think,
so, but just you were hit on the angle of, coming at it from a parent perspective. It is wild. Like, I have 3 kids, 12, 9, and 16 months. Now, the 12 and 9-year-old, my daughters, just the way that they interact with technology, I'd like to think I'm a leader in a tech organization myself, but like, I'm learning things from them, and just I so maybe this feels like a while ago now, about 4 years ago. I'm sure I was trying to describe to someone like how Ava, my youngest daughter, interacts with technology, and I was like, it was like back in the days where I used to use a mouse with a computer, right? I would use a mouse to move my cursor, and I'm sure people still do. And now it's like touch, well, I say now, it wasn't it, and then it was like touch screens, right? People are on iPads and phones, and you use your finger to navigate. But my daughter at the time was using her voice because she didn't know how to spell certain words, and to her it was super intuitive. I mean, I back then it was way more like, what's the word, like wonky jonky, like it was really hard to do, whereas it's much easier now with voice, and as time goes by things do get easier. But just her go-to of navigating technology is so different to how I use technology, and how I mean, there's an age difference between me and my husband and how he uses technology. It's wild. But to try and wear my mum hat and parent that, and I want her to push boundaries and to explore, but equally I think I'm so nervous and scared with my mum hat that I don't want to hold her back, but I know that there are dangers and there are concerns with that. So I don't have the answers. It's just, when you said that, I could really resonate with you, Lauren.
But I think it speaks to also like how we approach developing technology. So we ensure that the technology we develop is needs driven, and that when you think about being needs driven, like what are the needs of the learners in the classroom? And so we develop, like, the main thing that Learning Equality does is develop an offline product ecosystem of different tools that are free and openly licensed, that are adaptable, that really supports teaching and learning when the internet is limited or doesn't exist. And so we ensure that it might look very different than some of the online tools that exist out there, but it still gets at the same teaching and learning needs. It's just aware of the context. So for example, if you have a large class size and students are sharing devices, it might look different than a much more internet-enabled context where everyone has their own device and are learning on their own. We could talk a little bit more about the specifics of that, but just to kind of close the loop on the last point that you made, the learners that and the teachers in particular that we're designing for, may have never before taught or learned with technology. And their experience could actually be from an ICT perspective, where they're learning about technology, but not necessarily how to blend it into the teaching and learning environment. And so when we design this platform, it looks quite different because we're designing for those with much more limited digital literacy, which is really interesting when we think about our kids, where my 5-year-old can navigate a tablet in a way that maybe is scary at times, but it shows, like, when you do strong user research and you ensure that something is meeting the needs and is intuitive, as you're saying, it can be effective. And so, I think those kinds of things translate. It's just like what it looks like and the output is slightly different.
Yeah. And I think just one big plus to that, and for us, to your question about where we're at right now, I've been thinking about that. And as Lauren mentioned, I think from the get-go, we have this ethos and values of creating open source, accessible tools and platforms for anyone to use. So all of the Calibri ecosystem is open source. We have openly licensed materials. And we see a lot of organic adoption in the sense of grassroots organizations and community-based organizations who pick up and use our Calibri platform. And I think so far we've tried to design the tech and the platform and the supportive materials and think about ways in which it can best integrate into these learning environments to meet the needs of those learners and teachers. But we're also at a critical moment in time where we also need to think about how learners are thinking about their own learning and what it means to build their own agency. And also, if learners in well-equipped classrooms and environments get tools and technology where they can have personalized instruction and where they get things from the software where they find relevant materials that are aligned to their interests, and the teachers can easily assign different resources because they have the tech available to them. We have to make that experience and that student-centered learning experience where we build agency in both the learners but also the teachers, and have that be possible in the context that we work in as well. So I think a little bit in terms of where we're at right now is we built the platform and the tools and the supportive education materials and all the things, but we also are trying to move to a place where we build this movement towards student-centered learning in these low resource contexts. And I think that's talked about much less in these contexts because there's also immediate needs in terms of the systemic barriers that exist in these environments where there is limited access in general. So shifting the conversation to what student-centered learning can mean, how do we build student agency, and how do we build teacher agency, and what that can look like. I think that's where we're heading. And we've always built towards that, but I think we're at a pivotal time where we had so many implementations of Calibri up and running on the ground, so working more closely, and also building our team to support various different environments so that we can deepen what student-centered learning can look like and shape what that can look like in different environments.
Yeah. Which is absolutely amazing. And I've got a couple of questions. So you have this platform. How does the platform provide offline? Like, how do you handle the offline part of this?
Yeah, I can start sharing and Lauren can jump in too. So you can think about it in the way of, so there are different ways. So if let's imagine that we're inside a classroom or a learning space and you're a teacher and we're your students. So the way that the Calibri platform works is you can download it directly from the website and you can have it on your laptop, or you can get it in a USB drive from someone else who has already downloaded the Calibri platform. And as you download it, you can also select the different resources that you want for your classroom. So they can be the curriculum aligned resources. So for example, if I'm teaching grade 3 math in Uganda, I can find the relevant materials that are aligned to my particular classroom in Uganda and then have them in my classroom. And usually the teacher doesn't do that in terms of downloading the platform and putting in all the resources. Either an administrator or someone else who's an implementing organization sets that up. And so what happens is Calibri is downloaded onto this device. It can be a laptop, it can be a desktop computer, and that is set as the server, what we call as a server. So that is where Calibri is hosted, everything, resources are there. Now, all the learners probably have other devices. So they might be sharing one desktop computer amongst like 2 or 3 learners. They might have tablets or phones, and those are called what we call as learner devices. And there is a router in that classroom, but the router does not have access to internet. We create a local area network connection. So using the wireless router, we set up Wi-Fi without access to internet. And so what happens is the learner devices and the server device connect to that particular router. So for example, if my Wi-Fi name is Navya Ignited Change, for example. So all the devices are connected to that local area network connection, which is that router, which is not connected to the internet, it's just the Wi-Fi. And you probably see this happen when your internet isn't working, but your Wi-Fi router is still on, right? So it's a similar way. And so Calibri can then be accessed on those learner devices because through the app, there is a particular IP address, which is local for that particular environment. So that IP address can then be copied over to all the learner devices via Google Chrome or what other web browser is available on that particular device. So if I'm a learner, I go to my tablet, I go on the web browser, it can be Google Chrome or Safari, whatever I have, and then I type in the IP address. I might also have a shortcut to Calibri on my tablet as well. So I can just click on Calibri and that opens up the web browser too. But that's typically how it works. So the learner devices access it via the web browser, which is completely offline through the local area network connection. And the teacher laptop usually has everything downloaded. And the teacher can then also see in real time how the learners are progressing through the content, how they're performing on quizzes and lessons. The teacher can create groups on the Calibri learning platform for differentiated instruction. And then an administrator without access to internet can download all the data log files from that teacher's laptop. And when there is intermittent internet connection, so usually we see that administrators have a personal hotspot and they go around and they can then sync the data also back to the cloud, where we have a centralized data aggregation tool for them to see trends and the different ways in which learners are interacting with the content and all the different things as well. So that's like one example setup where there's no access to internet.
Yeah. And I think it's worth mention that like this concept of having an offline mini internet over some type of intranet itself isn't novel. Like there's a few organizations that do that. There are a few things that we do that make our approach much more responsive, adaptive, and sustainable for anyone to pick up that sets us apart from other organizations. One is this last point Navya mentioned about the ability to sync data between different servers and also to the cloud. So what that means and the implication of it is that Calibri has this completely offline access and distribution model, as she highlighted, but also the ability to seamlessly collect data so that learners can potentially go away from the server and come back and still have received this asynchronous facilitated support. The fact that we're constantly collecting all of the interactions from the data offline and then can use that data to inform future decision making at any level, whether it's a learner knowing this is where I stopped last time and this is where I should pick back up, or a teacher saying, I see that you're struggling on this, I'm going to give you more content related to this other type of supplemental materials, or an administrator or even at the government level saying this is what teachers are focusing on in the classroom, or this is where there's gaps in performance. That ability to have data to inform future decisions is really unique. There's a few other things, like Navya said, we don't prescribe particular sets of content. Instead, we have tooling available so that you can either use your own materials or use content from our library and have them be organized according to a curricular standard and make sense for your context. And that you're also only downloading or saving locally the materials that are actually needed. So to go back to our earlier point about kids and the internet and being scared of it, one of the big benefits of having something that's completely offline is that you're really controlling the content that are available, and you don't need to be worried about like potential other threats that might exist from being by having access to the entire internet, which doesn't always have quality learning resources or even accurate ones. And so those are the kind of things that we need to think about. And then I think the third thing that really sets us apart is this ability to provide support to educators. So there's a lot of flexibility in this model. Calibri can run on lower cost devices or older devices. We're not tied into a particular hardware model, which really means we can leverage whatever exists, which also saves costs because oftentimes there's previous investment made into the technology locally. And now we could say, hey, you weren't using these computers for 5 years because no one knew what to do with them. The teachers were scared to use them. They really required the internet. They required, high solar usage. But now with Calibri, you can really reinvigorate those devices. So there's all different models that it can take, which is also different from some others that work in this space. But the fact that we really provide a lot of educator support for teachers who, as I said earlier, have limited digital literacy skills, or haven't necessarily received the type of professional development on how to teach with technology in a meaningful way. Those are some of the differentiators. So for us, when we think about offline, we really need to reimagine what's possible with the technology, because our preconceived notions of what is possible is really driven by how we use the internet. And what we do is kind of break all that down, again, go back to what the needs are and build up from there. And so that's what our approach is.
And that, just going back to what the needs are, you're going back to those end users and what they really need and how you can best deliver on that. It sounds like you're so super focused on that, which is really exciting and brilliant to hear. It's the right way. But I'm curious, like there's so many challenges, but you're global. Like how many country? I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but like how many countries are you in, and how do you approach user testing to get insights and learnings to be able to push it forwards?
Yeah, it also means like our product design process looks different than other organizations that are using the internet. So I think one thing to understand about learning equality is while our ultimate, the outcomes we want to see and the impact we want to have in the world is really on the learners and improving learning outcomes and the quality of the learning experience, which also means equipping teachers and educators with relevant skills. But what we really do is actually enable organizations and the way in which we do that is either through this open do-it-yourself model where anyone can pick up our products and tools, primarily Calibri, and use it completely on their own without our direct support. So what that means is it's free, it's open source, as mentioned. It uses openly licensed materials. We have this really robust toolkit, bless you, Navya, which you could share more about. And that's how the majority of users use Calibri. Okay. And then we also work in partnership with a core set of organizations that help us improve our product and improve our understanding of how it's being used. And so the way in which, so in both of those instances, our ultimate goal is to have these feedback loops to better improve our product. And so we're constantly getting feedback from our broader community through our community forum, our email address, people reaching out to us, conferences, who are telling us, hey, these are the things that we need. And we have an internal clearinghouse to be able to process all that information to then dictate what our future roadmap looks like. Also because we are an open source product, people who are tech savvy, who are developers, go on our GitHub repositories and might also help to suggest different features or make improvements there. So it's also another way in which it's community driven, but we're constantly getting these inputs, and we do user testing. So people who reach out to us, we say, like, can you help us test a component of our ecosystem, something that we're developing that's new. At times when we have partnerships, we build that into our projects, saying, can we do a site visit? Can you facilitate this focus group discussion? Can you do this observation with this set of criteria, so that we can better understand? So even if we're not everywhere, we can get a sense of how it's being used and build that back in. It's just the release process looks slightly different for us because, one, we want anytime someone's using the internet that they're really being smart about it. So we don't ever want someone to download Calibri and it automatically needs so many updates because it broke. Like, it's not the same when we're on our iPhone or Android device and we're connected to the internet and there's all these frequent updates and it kind of doesn't impact our day-to-day. It's not the same thing when you don't have frequent internet connection. So we want it to be really meaningful in that way. And we also support so many different types of devices and operating systems. When we're doing a release, it's not just going to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. We also need to ensure that we have all these different types of installers for all different types of devices, and that we've tested it, that we can work on older browsers, older devices, and it's just a different type of process. I think I digressed a little bit from the initial question, but in general, we know that Calibri's been installed in more than 220 countries and territories. And the way that we know that is because instances of Calibri periodically might connect to the internet and ping back high-level anonymized aggregated statistics back to us, where we can get a sense of how it's being used, but not know everything because obviously data privacy, but also bandwidth constraints. Yeah. So that's a high-level reach, and that varies across country. We don't know about every instance of Calibri, and we know that because even just through our partners, we know some of our partner organizations are never connecting to the internet either. So it's very different than using an online tool where you can say, this is how many logins we had, and that's the absolute number, or this is how many accounts we have. It looks totally different, but it doesn't mean that we don't know something. We know actually quite a lot. It's just the types of metrics that we have look a little bit different than an online tool.
It's fascinating, but also I feel very overwhelmed. There's so much to consider in that whole process, like so much. I just, wow. Like, anyone that says to me now, if we're working on something at 360 Cube, I'm going to be like, wow. We only have to do a very small portion of the number of devices or whatever, but these are real considerations. It's very, it sounds like I guess you have to be very, very thorough, because you've got to be fair. These are just such good points. And when you take a moment to stop and actually think about what that means and what's required to make that happen, that's a lot. Like,
Yeah. I often think, because we spend a lot of our time talking to people, or at least I do, particularly in my role. And I think that whatever we're talking about, this isn't, once you hear this narrative, it's not totally surprising or revolutionary necessarily. It's just not the way that it's not the norm of how we think about technology or measuring the impact of an intervention. And so, yeah, I think it just opens up your mind to different possibilities. And it's something that's particularly important when we think about things like, we were loosely alluding to AI earlier. When we start thinking about these different technologies, we need to ensure that learners who are disconnected are still kept top of mind, and that they're not just an afterthought, because these last mile communities that are hardest to reach, they're often the ones that are in the most rural areas or lower economic status and so forth. And so it's critical that we keep them top of mind.
I'm still, my brain is whirring. I'm like, oh my gosh, so many questions. I want to know so much. Okay. So you've both been with the organization for quite a while. Can you recall your biggest, yes, this is working, like, moment? Like, what is there a moment in time that kind of, that you really remember, where you're like, yes, this is the right thing, we're going in the right direction? Or, I mean, I guess you're going to get that consistently over time, but do you have one vivid memory that you can share? And I can see I can see you kind of nodding, or maybe not. Maybe I'm kind of leading you down a garden path, but there must have been a moment in time where you're like, oh my gosh, this is working, this is going where we want it to go.
Yeah. Knowing each other, I think we're thinking of a few different moments and trying to pick one. But Navya, do you want to go first?
Sure. And you might hear my daughter in the background crying. Something happened downstairs and I can hear her, but
Okay.
She's okay. She's okay. She's okay. Yeah. Just a normal 1.5-year-old things. So I think there are a few, but one moment specifically, I think we did this training in Lebanon a few years ago, and it was one of our first like in-person training workshops that we did. And for me, whenever I see evidence of folks picking up and using our materials or our tools and making it their own and adapting it. And what we saw a few weeks after that was this whole channel on Calibri where there were these like a lot of materials that were created by those trainers and completely organically. So it happened after the training workshop. They translated it to another language. They created their own topics that they would want to train. They uploaded to this to one of our platforms, and they were ready to use it. And I think every time that's like the first memory that comes to me because you said first memory of whenever I see an organization or trainers or program staff picking up our products and our supportive tools and running with it and adapting it, that's when I can see that, okay, what we're doing is working. Because we never want to be an organization where we're always there as a part of the solution. We should be there at the beginning, but we should also be sustainable for the education program itself, where folks can fully own it and run with it. And so every time I see an example of that, that really motivates me. And then that tells me that, okay, what we're doing is working. And that was the first example for me earlier on.
I think I love that story, Navya. And I think any time, to Navya's point, that we hear that an organization has been using Calibri for a year or two and we had no idea and they adapted to their needs, we're like, oh, this model's really working. And then for us, it's also about how do we tell that story so that others understand? Because if we're, as an organization that enables other organizations, we're also helping to build an ecosystem. And we believe we're a critical component of that. For
How
me,
do you share those stories, Lauren?
that's a great question.
Because it's quite inspiring, because you want, okay, so you touched on like there's a community here and you want to inspire and enable that community, but sharing those, I guess, case studies is the professional term, but it's sharing the stories, right? How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, we're a nonprofit like any other nonprofit. We have a communications team that's excellent. We engage on social media. We attend different conferences at the global level as an organization, sometimes more locally, to share those stories. We provide materials for local organizations to also be able to share those stories as well. Um, and a lot of them do their own local media, which is really great to see. But I do think it's really hard, right? Because we think about, like, we want to eliminate as many barriers as possible to using our tools, which also means that organizations aren't required to share with us how it's going. And so oftentimes we're like, wow, we didn't know about that either. Like, I saw a Facebook post, and that's so interesting. So we've been thinking a lot about how do we also tell that narrative, right? Because we are non-implementer. We develop the technology and the supportive materials, and we kind of are in this situation where, because we work offline, we also don't know who everyone is who uses the materials. So storytelling can be a little challenging. Our metrics look slightly different. They're not necessarily traditional ed tech metrics, but it doesn't mean that we don't have really incredible stories to share. And also in the education space, change takes time. So like, I can tell you a story about the first time like I saw that this was working, which is a very simple story of being in a Ugandan classroom. There were these old computers that were being installed with like one of the very early versions of Calibri, with our partner with UNICEF at the time, actually piloting Calibri. It was before its official launch. And I saw 7 students around a computer who had not used a computer in the classroom before at the secondary level, as like high school equivalent for the US, and hadn't all touched a mouse before, to your earlier point, and were able to navigate the platform seamlessly, and it worked offline, and they could look at the contents. It's just like, this technology works, and it's actually opened up their eyes to different things, and they wanted to ask it questions, because we're all innately curious, right? And so that's a simple story that's like the quick story to share, right? About how you're making something possible. But we also know that real meaningful change and the kind of outcomes we want to see in the world also takes some time to happen. And so it's about sharing those stories over time and being able to communicate with our audience. And we have some really exciting ones from the last 2 years in particular about how we're using technology in different ways to enable hands-on activities that build foundational skills. That's an area that we're aiming to do more work in, that I think we'll have new stories to share, and we're already telling some of those too.
Well, that's quite exciting, and that kind of leads me on to the next question. So looking at kind of like not necessarily the next big thing in tech for good, but more of your focus. So earlier you mentioned that you were doing that you had just done your planning for the next 5 years, which I have to say is super impressive. I think if someone said that to me, I'd probably come out in beads of sweat, like, oh, I don't know what 5 years looks like. 3 years feels a bit more realistic, and we've started doing that ourselves. But 5 years feels like a long way away, because so much is changing so fast. But
yeah,
what can you share a little around what your goals are, and please don't worry if you would prefer not to say. We can.
No, we're very open and transparent.
I love it. I love transparency around this.
Yeah, it's critical. For us, I think the reason that we were initially focused on 5 years is because like we have a vision for the change that we want to see in this world, right? And so having some clarity on direction to get there through a vision statement and a mission is really helpful. And so I think for us, things are changing all the time, of course. And it's important, like, we're a learning organization. We're also an organization that thrives in iteration. And so I would anticipate that in a year or 3 years, like, things will look slightly different, but we've always stayed true to who we are as an organization and our values. And one thing that we honed in on a lot in this strategy is ensuring that we continue to build offline first education technology that enables student-centered learning, which is what we're continuing to focus on. So for us as an organization, we have a bold goal of reaching 25 million learners by 2030. And there's lots of different ways to get there. there's a lot that we'll still be looking at and measuring on the quality of that learning, and how we enable organizations in that process, and how we focus in on some of the most critical gaps in the international education space. For example, recognizing the learning poverty that happened as a result of the pandemic and still missing a lot of basic foundational skills in maths and reading, for example. So there's a lot in the quality component, but for us to get to 25 million is ambitious, but something that helps us to think about where we want to head, and the kind of reach we want to have. Earlier, I was talking a little bit about what differentiates us between other organizations, and we're very, in general, kind of bottom up, right? We support this organic adoption model, and we work through partners. Sometimes it's government, sometimes it's international NGOs, to be able to support its use. But at the end of the day, we really want to enable organizations to implement education technology in a way that makes sense for them. So in our strategic plan, we have different pathways to kind of head towards this 25 million, and that is continuing, like I said, building this offline first ed tech and working in strategic partnership. But we're also looking how AI can be an enabler across these areas, particularly in the area of content and organizing content in ways that make sense for particular contexts. And so that's the main thing. And then I think we're going to explore with some new things that we're still working out that helps us really enable organizations to do their work well and to be able to build local networks, because a lot of what we're aiming to do is around strengthening communities. Navya, do you want to share more? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, that just two things that have really struck me in this conversation that we're having today, and hopefully maybe this will come through to you listeners at home. But one is, you are both so aligned and focused, which is brilliant. Like, I have to admit, like, I think my nervousness when I hear people talking about the fact that they're co-leading together, I always think, oh, maybe there might be a little bit of like, not misalignment, like you're not always aligned, but you are so aligned, but also just so focused on the right things. So that's number one. But the second thing, and it's to your point, Lauren, is you're going to experiment and explore new things. And that's being quite brave and quite bold for, we take it for granted that we have the ability and support to be able to do that when you can go and experiment with new things. Not everyone feels like they can do that. And I think that all comes down to the culture of the organization, but it's like, I don't want to use the word exciting, but it's really encouraging to hear that you're doing this. And I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know what else I'd expect, because it sounds amazing, but that's super important. And I think it's important because for those listening that are wanting to make a business case to explore new things or try new things, don't be afraid. Like, put that business case together, or maybe try something small if you don't need to necessarily put a business case together, and learn from that before going all in. But Navya, sorry, over to you. But that was awesome.
Yeah. And I think that also is one of our core values in terms of learning constantly. And that's within, I think, even the small decisions that we make, the way that we build support for one another, the way that we have structure set up within the organization for personal, professional growth. That's a part of who we are. And I think that's why we can make those big decisions too. I think just one other thing to add on in terms of some of the new things that we're going to hopefully start and kick off. And it goes back to the earlier comment we were making around what does it take to create a movement towards student-centered learning in low-resource, tech-enabled learning environments. And, build learner agency, build teacher agency, and create these environments where learners take ownership over their learning, but also directly connect it to their communities and build 21st century skills. And for us to have those conversations, we wanted to start with a smaller initiative to kick off this year. And we're still researching and figuring out where is the best place to start this. But we want to enable and create this collective of organizations who are working together. So again, it's not completely led by us, but we're bringing together organizations who are aligned in this vision towards student-centered learning, and also create support structures. So Learning Equality does not have in-country staff directly supporting implementations right now. So we have more of the, as we were saying earlier, in terms of organic adoption, bottom up, there is Learning Equality support, but it's mostly through virtual. We do site visits to get research on our product, but we don't have direct implementation support so far in terms of going around different schools or supporting organizations on the ground directly.
Had you tried that route before? Is that like a no? So this is wow. I mean, the growth that you've been through and not having that's amazing.
Yeah. But I think this is like, and it's really kind of you to like say how brave it is almost to try something new. But I think it goes back to our values. Like we're thinking about trying something new that we'll be really smart about, right? Ensuring that it's well researched, that we're starting small, that we're piloting before we're not jumping to scale, but that it's really in response to what we're hearing from the organizations that we support. Like they want to come together and really focus in on how ed tech looks like in low resource environments when you're focused on student-centered learning. They want to be able to champion their work and show it to others. They want to share contents with each other in a meaningful way. So I think we're exploring how we can better enable that, which is consistent with everything that we've been talking about here. But it's also another example of how we can shift power to the organizations, which is a longer term goal that we have, and really be able to help support them in the ways that we can. Like, what are our skill sets? What are we bringing to the table? We're always asking ourselves, like, why learning equality in this moment? Is it us? Is it someone else? Do we otherwise partner? Where do we stay in our lane? Like, these are general questions. But we're excited. And I think it just feels consistent with how we've approached things before. We've talked a lot about different models in the past, but we never wanted to stray from our values, and focusing in on the way that Navya described, I think really helps us align on that. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe in a year's time, we can share that we've kicked off. We're definitely looking for funding as well for it. I think there are some similar type collectives that exist out there, but we'll see how it goes.
Amazing. And I have to ask, because like this all keeps coming for me down to the culture, which is driven by the values that you guys have created together. But how many values do you have? What are they? Can you share?
We can do one by one. So we just also did a iteration of our values, and it was a whole team effort. I think we don't want to take credit for all the things. There's so many. There are team members. The org is made up out of the team, and each team member contributes so much to the culture and the values and how we shape things up. So one of our core values is striving for equity. And that's the first one. And, just basically in every decision that we make, keeping the needs of the communities and the teachers and the learners, and centering the voices of those teachers and learners in the communities that we work with.
And the next one is learn constantly, which is what we were talking about earlier. We want to have reflective decision making, but we also want to learn and adapt and show perseverance and try new things. And we do that as people anyways, but it also comes out through the work that we do.
Yeah. And the other one, as you probably heard as we were talking through all the different examples and the stories, is strengthen community. And that basically means strengthen community within the team, support and take care of each other, but also how we partner with organizations, how we collaborate, how do we build relationships, what does it mean to have this community, and tie all of us together towards this common vision and mission that we're working towards.
So we have 5. I'm not sure if we said that. So the fourth one is embrace openness. And we're open in how we engage. I think that's been clear here. We really emphasize honest communication internally within our team, encouraging dialogue, but also we're very committed to the open education kind of movement in general. So as mentioned, we have an open source product. We use openly licensed materials. We always want to support local, but in moments where we can make tools open, we want to do that so that we're not reinventing the wheel. We can all use our resources in the right way. And so openness is really core to who we've been since the beginning.
And
Yeah,
what's
and
the last one?
I was just going to say the last core value is leading with empathy. So valuing inputs gained from both the wisdom of varied lived experiences, both within the team, but also the communities and the organizations that we work with. And then also balancing that with the research and the data that we see to incorporate into our work, because we also recognize that having rigorous data is essential for the work as well, but equally placing an importance on the wisdom of lived experiences. And so being an active listener, seeking to engage with diverse perspectives and really listening to understand. And I think that really helps with, again, decision making and where we support one another and how we engage with partner organizations or others that we speak to on the daily.
Oh my gosh, amazing. And I'm sorry, I should clarify for those listening, I put these guys on the spot about the values, but it's just, do you know what? Every single one of your 5 values, we've kind of touched upon. It's just come out of the conversation organically as well, but that's just, you both are so authentic, that it's just, and so open, which I really appreciate and value. So thank you very much. My last question, and I'm sorry because I know we're at time, so I'm going to try and be quick. But I guess for me, you're both 2 very inspirational women, right? You're leading an organization and you're doing an incredible job. Like, I'm in awe right now. But you're balancing that with motherhood and wearing multiple different hats, whether you are a wife, a partner, a friend, a mother, an aunt, whatever, multiple different hats. Like, what would be one piece of advice for someone struggling with wearing multiple hats that is listening today? Like, just one piece of advice. And whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, first I'm going to not answer the question by just saying, I think one thing that Navya and I have consistently noticed in talking to folks like at different events and networking recently, folks who don't really know us well, is they will end up talking about our families because, it's innate. We're all human. I think that's so important. Like when we think about organizations, we're organizations of humans, and we're just 2 people on our team, and we're honored to represent that team. But it's just an incredible group. We could talk about our team all day because we focus internally a lot about how to really support one another. And that goes to the core of our ethos too. So like people first, when we go to these events, people keep asking us like, you have 2 kids, 5 and under, like, how are you doing this? And I think we're both taken aback, and I don't know why that question surprises us because I think it's probably one of the most asked things I've been asked over the last 6 or however many months, 8 months. And I think it's because like we just don't talk about the fact that women are doing this all the time. Like we're fortunate in this new privileged role of holding this title, but and yes, it does bear a different responsibility on at least even on paper than not, but it doesn't change how we operate in certain ways in our day to day. And I think the one piece of advice is just to kind of the lead with empathy value that we were talking about. When within our organization, if someone has a sick family member, it doesn't matter whether they're a mom or not, or a sick pet, like we support one another, and we find the balance of how to be real and accommodating around that. We're in different time zones. We're in all different places, and so things sometimes like with anything, it's a disruption, but we're a team that also kind of can reprioritize, jump in and support one another. And I don't have a good answer to your question because I don't know. I don't think that we're necessarily doing it right. But what I know is that um, really supporting one another, and that doesn't even necessarily mean being truly transparent. I totally think that within the workplace, you don't have to share what's going on at home, right? But if we can norm set around um, build trust and recognize that we all have these different needs at different moments and still show up in different ways and hold ourselves accountable, that's important. And I think we're fortunate. Navi and I think we're maybe at the time, the two first people on the team to become parents. That we since brought it, that might not totally be true, but like then we've since brought in a lot more folks. There's been a lot more babies on the team. Like we've really evolved since then. But being able to recognize where we each need to take a beat and have support feels particularly real on this in the winter where there's just like so many germs floating around and it's challenging. But I think just being able to support one another and give space when we need to is always helpful. And I think that's just being a person. That's my answer.
Huge. Yeah, huge plus one to that. I know there's so many days that I was able to navigate because of Lauren's support and others on the team. And that's because we have that culture of supporting one another. I think as in this role as leaders, we also set example for the team in different ways. So whether it is us dropping us, like this morning, I put a Slack message in our general channel because I was like, I had a very early start and I'm going to hop off early today. And I think just setting example and that norm setting that Lauren was mentioning earlier of the way that the small actions that we do within the org also sets the culture and the way that we normalize working moms and how they navigate the workplace. We have a very generous parental leave policy and also a lot of the team support that's given during parental leave and also the transition back. And just having the flexible work policies is so critical and important. I think as working moms in general and as parents too, right? And I think that is so often not, you don't have the privilege in different organizations to have those things, but we always put that as a priority for us at the organization, no matter what. And I think that's also one of our differentiators. When we have to make hard decisions, we never undermine or we never deprioritize what it takes to support the well-being and have those policies in place to support lives of different team members, right? Because life is important and it's not just the work aspect of things. And I think as a mom, as a daughter, as an aunt, and there's so many things and different ways in which we are needed in one day. Like you are needed in that room, in this room, in this conversation, in that conversation. There's 10 different WhatsApp family groups I need to reply to. And what I've realized, especially in this past year, is there are moments when I can be fully present at work. And there are moments when I have to be fully present at home. And sometimes I'm a better mom, and sometimes I'm a better coworker and a better colleague. And I'm just now okay with that reality. Like before, that was really hard for me because it's like I have to give my best in all these different spaces. But I just know now that that's not possible. And I'm telling myself that it's okay if I'm not giving my 100% in all these different spaces at the same time.
Yeah. And I think it's just going easy on yourself and accepting that's okay because there's only one of you and there's only so much to go around and to give.
Yeah, I think also just going back to the question that I was saying people ask us, I think it's in part they're saying it sometimes from a place of are you missing out on these early and important years? And we know how draining this time could be, and also how being in a work environment also invigorates us in different ways. But I think one good thing too about being moms in this together is that we can call each other out too. And we also know what's really important at the end of the day. Like we care deeply about our mission and our work, but we want to be there for dinner time and we want to be there for bedtime, although sometimes we're all too tired and we have great partners. But we can remind each other of like what's really important and to not miss these moments. And I think that we've gotten better at that over time, but being in a supportive environment helps you actually do that. And we're always our own worst critic too, because we're people, but I think we're better because we have each other in that, and not just us, like everyone on our team. It's sometimes, maybe it is women specific or mom specific, but we all have different responsibilities to our family. We all have women in our lives that we support in different ways, regardless of who we are. And it's special that we can care about each other that way.
And I just, honestly, it shines. It like, it sparkles, it shines through, and it's amazing. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time. I know we've run massively over, but I really appreciate it. And I've certainly learnt lots, and just leading by example, and those values are brilliant. And the fact that, you've evolved those, and you're continuously improving, I think, in all aspects that you're doing. It's exemplary, and it's brilliant. So thank you for sharing your story, and I hope maybe in a year's time we reconvene and see how things are going. But thank you both for a wonderful recording.